Hello and welcome to the Law for You. It's amazing what we spend every year on peace of mind. Health insurance, dental insurance, car insurance, travel insurance. The list's endless. But there's one thing that quite a lot of people think, I don't need to do that yet, and they leave it until later on in life, or they don't bother doing it at all. And that is draft a last will and testament, which in all honesty is the cheapest peace of mind you're ever going to get. It allows you to rest easy, knowing that the people you love and care about have got a little bit of guidance and help from you after you're gone. So today I'm going to help you draft your own last will and testament from home. All it's going to cost you is some time and some paper and ink. If you do struggle with it, or you want something simple to follow, then I have launched a range of last will and testament kits that contain everything you need to complete a basic will. These are available online through our YouTube shop and available on Amazon. You just type in The Law for You into Amazon search and it'll bring up our will packs. Through the YouTube shop or on our website, you can download a PDF version you can print at home, or have a premium printed hard copy version delivered straight to your door. This video also includes the completion guide that accompanies the last will and testament pack that you can download or get delivered to your door. So stick with me, and today we'll get it done, either at no cost to yourselves or for the price of a couple of coffees and a piece of cake, because these are on offer at the moment. Okay, so let's dive straight in. If you have purchased or you're planning on purchasing one of the will kits that we offer, I'll briefly run through what you get in the kit so you can check there's nothing missing. There should be a practice run last will and testament first draft, a final last will and testament for completion, a statement of wishes for completion, an example last will and testament for you to follow, and an asset register for completion. There's also a step-by-step guide included with the pack that you can keep to hand while you're drafting your will. If you purchased a premium printed pack, you also get a C4 hard-backed envelope and a label for your envelope included in the price. Okay, let's dive straight in. First thing you ideally need to do before you actually start drafting your last will and testament is make a nice list of all the assets you've got, any accounts and any other details that you're going to actually need to include either in your will or in your statement of wishes that would go with it. There are some things that's ideal not to put in the will because it can overcomplicate things. We'll come to those shortly. So once you've sat down, you've listed everything that you want to actually include in your will, and you've decided who your beneficiaries are going to be and who your executor or executors are going to be, including any contingent beneficiaries, just in case the beneficiaries that you list don't outlive you. Okay, so once you've got all that, let's make a start. I will of course mention at this point, this video and the will pack itself does not constitute legal advice for your individual circumstances. Should you require any explanations, individual advice, or confirmation of how to disperse anything in your estate, we strongly suggest you seek legal advice from a solicitor or appropriately qualified person in wills and estates. This video and the will pack itself is for administration purposes only, and although it will lead to a legally binding document, if in doubt as to what to include out of your personal estate, always seek advice first before completion. Okay, now that's out of the way, we'll move on. If you're writing your will yourself, you'll need to include one important clause at the start. That being that you revoke all previous wills and codicils. Otherwise it can cause a complication if another will turns up, and it may end up that it gets read in conjunction with the current will you're doing. So, always start it with something along the lines, I, enter your name, of, enter your address, on this day, enter the date, do hereby revoke all previous wills and codicils, and attest this is my last will and testament, replacing all previous. You are the testator. So on the will that we provide, you'll fill in the first section as a testator with your own details. The next section is the executor. This is where you list the person who's actually going to handle your estate when the time comes. Then after you put the executor, you need to list the residuary beneficiaries. These are the beneficiaries that will get what's left of your estate after any funeral costs and other debts or anything else, any other accounts are all settled. So these are your main beneficiaries. Following the main beneficiaries, you list contingent beneficiaries, which are listed in the will, just in case your beneficiaries don't survive you. Moving on, ideally what you would add into your last will and testament is a phrase along the lines of, all beneficiaries included herein are expected to survive me for a minimum of 30 days. Then you can also add in a section that states, should your contingent beneficiaries not survive you for a minimum of 30 days, then the remainder of your estate should be split into 100 equal shares and dispersed amongst any existing family members that are still alive, or something similar, obviously subject to how you wish for your estate to be dispersed. You can exclude people from your will, And you can enter a straightforward reason why, but bear in mind it can't be an illegal reason, as in race or religious beliefs. Plus, if the court decides to overrule your wishes, then their ruling will be binding. Then if you've got the will pack, it's section 8, where it says additional information and parties. This is where you can add additional executors, other beneficiaries, specific gifts, make reference to other documents included, and whether they do or do not form part of the last will and testament, and basically put any other information you feel relevant based on the advice you've been given. I will just say at this point, any life insurance policies or pensions that already have a beneficiary listed on them should be excluded from your will because they don't form part of your estate. Okay, once you've done that and you've read through it and you're happy with what your will actually states, fundamentally that is a basic will. The most important part comes next though, and that's the actual attestation and witnessing of the last will and testament. Almost 1 in 5 wills in the UK fail because they're not witnessed properly, to where a judge may be able to interpret or distinguish what somebody's intentions might be from the content of the will. It will make no difference whatsoever if it's not signed properly. And the other problem, of course, is a lot of wills that you can purchase online, drafted by other countries, and videos you can watch that say they suit any last will and testament, but fundamentally they don't. Some will say you need to get it witnessed by a public notary. That may be the case in the United States and some other countries, but in the UK you don't. You need 2 independent witnesses of legal age and of sound mind, not beneficiaries in the will, or they could actually lose anything that's left to them anyway, and ideally not related to the testator or each other. But if it's your 2 best friends and their husband and wife and they're not listed in your will as a beneficiary, then it's fine. It's purely because in the event that they actually have to come to court for any reason and swear an oath that they actually witnessed you signing it, that they can do so. So what you do is you initial every page, ideally if there's more than 1 page, you sign, date and complete the details at the end of your will. In our last will and testament pack is page 5, and just before their signatures and their details, put in a sentence along the lines of, "We the witnesses sign below do hereby witness that the testator," and then put your name, "sign this last will and testament and is of sound mind in our presence on this day," and then put the date, and then the witnesses can sign it, date it, and put the details underneath. That pretty much sums up completing the will. Again, it's a basic overview, but that would actually be enough to provide you with a last will and testament that won't cost you a penny. Now moving on, if you've bought the pack from us or you're planning on doing so, it will come with a statement of testamentary wishes, which is basically a document that looks like this. And there's several pages to it, and fundamentally what it will do is it gives you the opportunity where you can list your funeral requirements, any specific other requirements that you've actually got to do with the actual ceremony or service, whether you actually want a ceremony or service. There's also a section with guidance for trustees in relation to your wishes for the style and manner in which any children you may leave behind are brought up. Obviously, again, these are wishes, they're not actually part of the will, but you may wish for them to be brought up in a certain religion or go to a certain school or whatever it may be. You may wish them to get a certain amount of pocket money every month or every week. And again, in this particular section, or if you write this in yourself, you have to bear in mind any wishes you have likely won't stand if there's an existing guardian or parent that's still alive looking after them. It would then be down to the agreement between you and them based on what you put in your statement of testamentary wishes. You can always include, and there is a space in this particular pack, for reasons why you may have omitted somebody from your will, which may support your reasoning behind it. And there's a space for additional information and for any personal messages you may have for your family or any loved ones that you wish to be read out at any ceremonies or at any point. Again, an accompanying statement of your wishes can almost list anything you like as long as it's legal and it doesn't legally form any part of your estate. Then in our pack, there's also a digital asset register, which looks like this. And there's an explanation for the executor on the back, because obviously it's in strict confidentiality. On that, you can actually list all your details of accounts, logins, digital assets, as in Facebook, YouTube accounts, any other accounts, Instagram, anything that you have as a digital asset that's going to require a login, password, or some other form of getting into it for them to access it to actually do something with it. And obviously in your statement of wishes or in this document, you can add in there whether you want the accounts actually just closed or memorialized or anything else, which again, you can include in your own. That pretty much brings us to the end. If you do make a mistake while you're doing it, in any will kit you buy from anywhere, don't tip exit, either buy a replacement kit, get a replacement page, or put a clean line through it and initial next to it so that your executor or a judge knows it was a simple mistake. But the primary thing you need to remember when you're completing any last will and testament, you can fill in all your details first, but all the signatures should be done at the same time, in the same room, at the same place, ideally with the same pen. Different coloured ink can raise doubts as to whether it's actually been signed at the same time. So check you've got a good working pen before you actually start your signing process. Have your witnesses there, initial any pages, and everybody sign it all at the same time in the places required, all in the presence of each other. And that should give you a legally binding document. Our last will and testament kit that you can buy from Amazon, or a link is actually tagged in this video, provides a simple, straightforward last will and testament that looks something like this, where most of the details you fill in are on the front page, apart from section 8, and then your signatures and details for you and the witnesses on the last page. So we've kept it simple and straightforward. So, best of luck with completing your last will and testament. It's something that needs to be done. Nobody ever wants to do it. It's often put off to the last minute, which is why there are so many situations where people pass away without a last will and testament in place. So don't be one of those people. Just get it done. Ours is for the price of a couple of cups of coffee and a cake. Thanks for watching. Share this video with anybody else you think might find it useful. Give it a thumbs up. And if you've got any general questions about how to complete a last will and testament, drop a question in the comments below.